Hello, my name is Samuel Langi and I am 19 years of age and I'm currently in my second year of studies in the University of Auckland, studying a Bachelor of Law and a Bachelor of Science conjoint in Biology and Chemistry. I am of Tongan descent and I hail from the villages of Wainitangatapu and Mutafohapai.
Kia ora, my name is Georgia Talanoa. I'm 19 years old and I'm Cook Island Māori from my father's side. I grew up in Palmerston North. I went to Palmerston North Girls High School and now I'm studying second year medicine at the University of Auckland.
Talofa lava, my name is Natano Junior Muleina Kilimete. I'm 19 years of age and I'm a second year medical student at the University of Auckland.
Talofa, my name is Tare Vile. I grew up in Auckland, I'm half Samoan. I went to Marcelin College up in Auckland and now I'm second year University of Auckland student.
I think the biggest challenge is the preconceptions around what a Pacific Islander is. A lot of people believe that Pacific people can only succeed in areas such as sport or areas such as media, like arts, performing arts, drama.
It was just really being in a school around people that didn't feel like I belonged in either STEM subjects or in success. And so trying to push away others' expectations and reminding myself I do deserve excellence and I deserve scholarships, not just because I'm brown, but because I'm a successful student.
I think it's kind of unanimous that Pacific Islanders aren't expected to achieve as well. And so trying to achieve in a system where they don't really believe in you, and it kind of translates into yourself not believing in your own capabilities. And I think that's why Pasifika people specifically tend to aim lower and tend to not achieve at NCA just because they don't think they're capable.
We're not learning the basics, which are so fundamental to the bigger picture, and then even then we don't see the bigger picture. We pick the subjects that we think are going to be easy for us for that year, but then by the time we get to the years that matter, like year 11 and year 12, we don't have the skills, or we didn't take the subjects that we needed to take to get to where we want.
And so trying to overcome that barrier of having people direct you to a career or a pathway that you really did not intend to go down.
Growing up, I didn't really have any Māori or Pacific role models to look up to, so that kind of hindered my aspirations because I never ended up shooting for the stars. I only shot for the Sky Tower.
We're a big voice for people that are right now facing stigma and being put into a system that doesn't cater for them, giving views that aren't necessarily desirable to hear, especially to government organisations and to people that implement education, telling them actually this is the way we're being treated, this is the way we're being talked to, this is the way we're expected to achieve.
And what I really want to do is actually work with these statistics because they're actually people, and they're my people, and they're your people, and they're our people. It's
been really good talking to NZQA because a lot of people don't realise actually there is a lot of stigma and there is offhand comments or just certain systems that are in place that get Pacifica students a bit rattled by the system, a bit rattled by education because they don't feel like they belong there.
One of the biggest things for me with my first session here was how shocked everyone was with our experiences. I just assumed that everyone knew the way things work.
It gives you that sense that, okay, people do care about us, we are a minority but we're still being heard, and people are willing to make changes for us and willing to make compromises for us.
You can do whatever you want if you put your mind to it. Just make sure you believe in yourself and you know your capabilities, and never let anyone tell you or limit you to what you can do, because you can succeed in anything. Like, I'm from South Auckland, I'm poor, Desau 1 high school, and I'm training to be a doctor, and like, if I can do it, you can too. I mean, being out south, I didn't really have like the financial means to like do stuff outside of school, so I'd have to work school and go to like my cousin's house to use a laptop so I could do internals.
And I remember in high school, a friend of mine came up to me while I was studying. I studied sciences, and he asked with no malicious intent. He said, "Atu, why are you studying white subjects?" See that there's an actual racial divide in how we see subjects. Well, the subject that we're most known for congregating towards is the one that is the least academically demanding, and which is physical education. And the reason why that is because it's what we look like. On the rugby field and on any other sports field, we're praised as heroes and warriors and people with immense talents. But in the classroom, when there's a Pacific Islander with slight talents, it becomes a success story and a rare find, more than meets the eye, brains and brawn. And even before we step into the ring, our boxing gloves are already being tampered with. We kind of doubt ourselves immediately from the get-go because of the stigma and the stereotypes and how we feel about ourselves. And I think it's time to squash the stereotypes and squash the stigma, because it settles around us and then it settles within our Pacific youth, and it's really starting to affect people.
The tree represents the educational system in New Zealand, and the animals represent different people with different backgrounds and different knowledge.
Those teachers that didn't take the time to be culturally aware and culturally inclusive had worse marks than those teachers that were actually taking the time to understand the boys and understand their culture and understand where they come from, how they think, how they act, why they do the things they do.
How can they stay in STEM if they can't even get into STEM? And they build those skills in year 9 and year 10, and that's in maths and English. It is in science as well, but you can't do science without math, and even especially in year 13 biology, you can't do that standard without English because it's basically just 3 essays.
Before streaming starts in year 9 and 10, and so if you do quite poorly in year 9 and 10, they'll probably stream you into like basic classes in level 1, 2 and 3.
So the effect of not being good and not building those skills in year 9 and year 10 is that they're not building the skills, so they're not good at it, which means they're not going to be interested in maths and science because they're not good at it. Like, no one wants to do something that they're not good at. Like, in my experience, Pacific people, we don't have that foresight, that broad perspective to see how our actions now will reflect, you know, our future. So like at my school, there was a top 50% class for maths and a bottom 50% class. And the bottom 50% was only unit standards, which uni doesn't count. So if you didn't do well in year 9 and year 10, which determines what class you go into, then you're automatically put in a D grade maths class and then you can't go to uni.
Class to you, I want you guys to tell me what you think of. If I say, oh, I'm going to go to biology, I'm going to chemistry, what ideas do you get in your mind straight away? Just chuck some at me. Yep, so here's skeletons, field trips, botanical gardens, fish, any others? Test tubes, making hokey, yes. Okay, so then my question is, why do you test us with a 3-hour biology essay? So I knew I wanted to do biology and chemistry and physics, and I loved it. And year 12 was pretty good because I got to do DNA replication and photosynthesis. But year 13, I learnt about speciation and human evolution and why plants and animals are friends. And it was all me sitting down in class, reading off slides, writing down, and I will be completely honest, I learned my way through level 3 and I did fine. I was able to work hard through level 3 and able to get through it, knowing that my career on the other side was still set for me. But for people going through externals and trying to find themselves in a science pathway, if you're showing them, we're going to make you sit a 3-hour exam where you're just going to write essays until your hands fall off about bones and birds, then they can't see the microbiology, they can't see the test tubes, they can't see where they get to work in a marine environment, they can't see medicine, they can't see all this amazing opportunity, because the way assessment is done these days is the gold standard of assessment is if you can sit in an exam for 3 hours and regurgitate the knowledge that you've learned all year. And so we need people that are innovative, we need people that are creative, we need people that can think on their feet and can come up with new ideas. And my question to you guys is, how is that being done with the current externals that we're sitting?
Good question.
And my question to you guys is, how can you provide students with opportunities to really show their passion in life when they're being funneled down this very discrete pathway? STEM. We know now about the racial stigma that we experience in classrooms every day. We now know what is important to Pacifica students and what is going to drive them into education and STEM subjects. We know their values of history, we know their values of family, and we know now
As you can tell, we're all pretty good orators at the level of NZQA. What can we do now you've got all this knowledge? How can we adapt that? So